Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Chat Door? Door Shutter coming back to you with a brand new episode of Project Architect 2. And today we are going to get into first Kelp, and then from Kelp we will then go into I think, let's see, Kelp into actually doing the sequential fabricators. I actually don't have the thermo generators for the sequential fabricators right now, but I think we'll be okay. So what I want to do is in this space right here. Oh, I forgot to go grab the energy collector or energy condenser. I have one here, and then glowstone. I've been doing some drawer stuff off camera just because it's, simply moving items back and forth. And also, of course, we did this, which I told you I was going to do last episode. It has been done, not for everything, because some stuff is not really that easy to do, but, it's most of it, and a lot of the important stuff. Everything is connected to the drawer system, all of that fun stuff. So we are golden. So let's get the first bit of this done. So we need an iron furnace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the thermo generator here, grab the wireless heat receiver, and that should be bound. Let's just check. Yep, bound to. And we are going to need to make dried kelp. So let's just set this back here. Set this here. Set the glowstone on top. And then let's put kelp in here, which is 1. And then we are going to put the iron furnace, which looks like a block of obsidian. Kind of took me a second there. Okay. And we're going to probably put this on the backside. Can I face it towards... I may not be able to do it this way, but that's okay. If it's facing the wrong direction, that's fine. Okay. And we should be able to do back input, auto input, and then auto output on the top. Sounds good. And then I've got a fuel upgrade, fuel efficiency, and then smoking to make this go faster. And then we toss this in here, and this will start making dried kelp. So very, very simple, very, very quick. And then now we just need to transfer this over to the actual drawer system, which I think to do that, I'm going to go grab a controller access point. I might be able to make one right now, but I don't think I will, because I don't think I have quartz. But let's just check, because I think this requires quartz. Quartz and drawers. Okay, let's go grab that real fast. It actually is the range far enough. That might be a problem. I didn't even think about that. Let's check. Ooh, actually perfect. Absolutely perfect. Unintentionally perfect, too, because I really didn't even think about it. Okay? And then we just want to go... I guess I should have grabbed 3 functional storage drawers. Whoops. Alright. That is the functional storage drawer that we needed. That is not what we want to put in it. I should have put kelp in it before I put it to the system, but that has pushed kelp in, which is beautiful. And now that is cruising. So, of course, in the future, once we add actual, like, full power gen into our system, I'm not afraid to do more of this with, like, the flux networks or powers, ender gates, or anything. But right now, this is just a very easy way to do this, and it is a fast way to do this, because these actually aren't that expensive, these furnaces. They do require some diamonds, but other than that, we have enough EMC to kind of get that going. Okay. So the next portion of this that I want to work on is the sequential fabricators, and I don't have the power for these just yet, but I'm okay with just kind of getting the bare bones portion of this done and kind of just going from there. So we do need item cards. Hey, quick interjection here. If you guys are enjoying the video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you leave a like and or subscribe, or even comment. Advice, feedback, questions, I would love to see it all. And I will try to get to it. Of course, I will not immediately reflect that in a video just because these videos are recorded in advance, and you'll most likely see a answer or something in a video sooner or later. It just won't be immediate. All right, let's get back into the video. I think 4 should do it for now, because we need inputs and we need outputs. And I've got counting filters for these as well. So on the down direction, we're going to extract on channel 2, because we're going to connect this to the existing laser node system. So we're going to make sure we have this on a different channel. And then on the up direction, we're going to want to put this on channel 2 as well. With the... Actually, no, we don't want to do that. Hold on. Let's do on the down. We're going to change this back to white by right-clicking. And then we're going to go on the up direction. We're going to do white as well, because then that will allow for us to filter this, which is the biggest thing. We don't have to worry about what I was talking about. So let's do salmon. Of course, get that to 64. And then cooked rice, we'll do 64 as well. And that should be golden. Okay? And then, of course, here we want to make sure that we are toggling this to be input and output. Auto input, auto output. And then we just need to make sure the recipe is put in here. And we should hear this thing fire off every so often. And, of course, no power, so we're not going to be able to produce anything. Okay. And then... I actually don't know how I want to drawer system this yet, because it's going to look a little funny if we do it there. Actually, what we could do is we could just do output on top. So just like so. And then that way we have the drawer on top, each of them, and then we could put the kelp roll... I don't even know where we're going to do the kelp roll. Probably up top. Or we could put the kelp roll over here, because we're going to need a new slicer system anyway. It might be an either or. We will figure that one out here in a second. We are busy with these. And then we also want to make sure that we are linking this to here, which would allow us to get the cooked rice. And then, of course, on the down direction, let's also get some of the overclocks in here. 32. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. And, of course, these baskets do hold some left. So that is perfect. Whenever that cutting board activates, that's okay. You know, we have enough to kind of keep that buffer. All right, so on the down direction, we are going to extract. We are going to put in a couple overclocks. And we are going to then put on the up direction, which this thing doesn't have configuration, so it shouldn't activate or shouldn't push anything in right now. But we are going to do some cod. And do 64. And then the rice bowl, 64. And then we'll just go up here, configure this to be input, and then output, and then make sure we've got this configured to the cod roll. And that should be golden. Okay. And of course we can make sure we toss in that as well, because we really don't need it. Alright, but that is going to be those two things automated. Of course, we just need to get power to these, which shouldn't be too difficult. I will do that off camera, honestly, because that's just kind of boring. But I might just put... I could probably fit the thermo generators right behind these, so they're independent. That might not be a bad idea. Just make two very basic tier thermogens, and just put them right behind it with the blazing block. That's a pretty good idea. Oh, and also, you know, connect that. So we get cooked rice in here. But that is kelp. That is the salmon and cod rolls. Now all we need to do is get the kelp roll, which of course the kelp roll is going to be special because you have to cut this into pieces. And so we'll need to do a slicer again. But we just need to craft these up, which, I mean, honestly, isn't going to be that difficult. We just have to get... I'm going to say we put this guy here to keep him local towards this laser. Or we could just... Why do we need to put it there so we need another laser? Let's just do it that way. And let's do... item card. I'm trying to do this quickly because I know it's dark now. And then let's just do counting filter. So we need carrots, we need kelp, and of course we need the rice. So it's not actually a very complicated recipe. So carrot, or no, it's carrot, Kelp. 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 Dang it, and I closed it out, so it cleared it. Okay, hold on. Let's get the kelp roll pulled up here. There we go. So, carrot, dried kelp, dried kelp, dried kelp, cooked rice, check mark. Okay? And then here, we can do the exact same thing. Carrot, cooked rice, dried kelp. 64 of each. And then on the right side, input, and on the bottom, output. And, of course, we can then do a functional storage drawer once we go grab one. Which is right here. We'll just grab a handful of these, because I'm probably going to need some in a second. Okay. And with that, we are going to hopefully have everything we need. Which that is everything, right? Kelp, carrot, and then we just need power. Okay. I was just kind of making sure visually that everything is there. So now, once we provide power to this, this will then make kelp rolls. And then kelp rolls, we can probably just, yeah, we'll just mirror this entire system. And then have another functional storage drawer right here with the actual kelp roll slices. And I will just do this entire portion off camera. Of course, I've spaced this to where we can actually put everything we need without interrupting the other ones. So that should be beautiful. Let me get power. Let me get this built out, and we'll be back here in a second. Okay, power has been provided. Everything looks like it is okay. Of course, we forgot to add functional storage drawers to these. I'm actually going to quickly just do that real fast. Nothing too complicated. Looking for these guys. I put it in my backpack. And then did I forget to set that? That I did. Okay. Perfect. So that is functioning. You can hear the cutting board going. And of course, kelp rolls are being made. I haven't made the slicer. I just wanted to update that we forgot about that. That is fantastic. And everything is cruising. So we should be going through cooked rice quite a bit. But it looks like actually we're not really going through it that quickly. We are just kind of going to check something here real quick. We're going to turn this down to 15. And see if that may speed stuff up. Just doesn't seem like it is pulling out that quickly. Okay. We will just go with it, and hopefully everything will work out nice and smooth. Of course, these will be 2,000. This one here is set to 16,000 because I've got a copper upgrade in there. So, yeah. Also, quickly, before I forget, let's go pop over here to the little Hoglin farm area. We are doing pretty good over here. So I actually have set this to do 256 raw stuffed hoglins and also 256 stuffed hoglins. You can see we're kind of, you know, backing up a little bit. It looks like we don't have enough crimson pieces to actually keep this up, but that's okay. The nether salad, we have 2.7, so it should fill up this pretty quickly. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the just added stuff that I did. Nothing changing the system, just straight up adding more storage to them. But yeah, that is beautiful. All right, on to the slicer. So I just was looking at cutting board because I'm going to craft one here in a second. But there's a Wixie cutting board, and apparently you can actually have the Wixie from Ars Nouveau automate a cutting board. That is Starbunkle Mania. .wixie_jobs here. I don't think that's correct, but yeah, with cooking pot, Farmer's Delight, and crucibles. Yeah, that's actually really cool. So if you wanted to automate cutting stuff, you could actually do Wixies. I don't want to do that right now because I'm sticking to kind of just doing Farmer's Delight as vanilla as possible. But maybe in the future we might look at that. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that's definitely something that I did not know about. I think Starbunkle Mania is one of those interesting mods because it adds quite a bit with adding just like a little bit of stuff. Yeah, there's a Wixie stone cutter. There's a Wixie cooking pot, so you do need to have specific. It doesn't look like these are implemented as of current. Unless it's just like here for placeholder and you just hit a cutting board. Hold on. Let's actually just test. I'm kind of curious. I have a Wixie token in here. What is needed to make this a full charm? So a vexing, so sapling, brewing stand, emerald, and crafting table. I know I'm getting like sidetracked, but that's okay. Let's quickly grab a crafting table. Let's grab an emerald. Let's grab a brewing stand and a sapling. We'll just pull whatever sapling we can find. Let's actually go for one that's vanilla, so I know this will work. Because I'm just curious. Curious can be. Okay. So that's all of the items, right? I hope. Enchanting apparatus. Yeah, you just need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go send this. I'm kind of curious. Nope, I need that last. I don't think I've ever used the Wixie, by the way, so this is going to be interesting to see if this actually functions. But I don't know how you actually set their job. So if I put this down and I right-click, no valid craft nearby. So I wonder how... So if I put like this... So how do you determine the craft? There's not a whole lot of information in here, by the way. Place a Wixie on a stone cutter cutting board to have it use the cutting recipe for crafting. Let me see if I can find anything on this. Be right back. So I'm kind of basing this off of some of the information I see on the Ars Nouveau, just kind of wiki here. If we grab the pedestal, which I have source stone in here, and source gems, and probably some gold, and we look at pedestal. I'm just going to grab a small pedestal because I think those look better. And we do... So if I do this... So I would want to have probably something more like this. And then maybe like a chest. Do I need a chest? I don't know. This is really weird. I don't know how this works. That's my problem. I'm kind of flying in blind here. Let's grab a vanilla chest. And let's grab some cod out of our... Oh, we don't have any? Do I not have cod EMC'd in here? That's kind of funny to me. And I don't even have any cod in here. Okay, let's go to the fishing area over here real quick. I thought I had cod in there. I think I only have salmon then at that point. I don't have either. Okay. I will probably EMC these guys here in a little bit, but we will try this. So that's recipe set. I'm not sure why or how this actually works at this point. Unless I need another pedestal to put down next to this instead. With, like, the actual crafting ingredient. No valid craft nearby. Okay, so just looking a little bit further into the wiki here, it says a Dominion wand can bind, so I'm kind of curious. Okay, inventory bound. But I also know I need source for this, so let me just snip the source jar. Okay, so you needed a source jar. So that's kind of broken. It doesn't tell you that you needed source. So let me get rid of this guy. Because if this works like a normal cutting board, it should send it to the... Okay, so it doesn't work like a normal cutting board. I mean, still, that's really cool. And I would assume the more Wixies you put down here, the faster that this could go. And all you would need to do is just grab an absorption hopper, right? Um, that's actually really nifty. It's not going to be useful for our case because it's not that fast, but I would assume more Wixies would, just like the Drigme farm, right? Would allow for us to go faster. But I just kind of wanted to see how this actually functions, and I think that's really cool. So, one of the other questions I have, do I need to bind this inventory? No. Okay, so I just need to set the recipe by clicking on it with a valid Farmer's Delight, and then have an inventory, and then have source. But you need to make sure you bind this by taking the position and then right-clicking. Of course, if I right-click now, it's going to unbind it, but that is actually really cool. And I'm assuming this is the exact same way with the furnace, with the cooking pot, anything of that sort. You just put an inventory there. That is really nifty. That is really, really cool. This is something I wasn't even thinking about looking at, honestly. I just was intrigued by this. And I know we have enough stuff for ours to even look at this, so we may as well. And I think these little guys are so cute. Look at that little guy. Yeah, I just kind of wish it would push back into the inventory. But yeah, let's just let's tear this all down. The Wixie should become a charm again. And we should call this a day. That is a really cool thing, just to quickly take a peek at. And I don't think that was a bad idea. It's just really cool. Also, we're probably getting a whole bunch of leads and stuff right now because the fact that the Wandering Traders are in here, which is kind of funny to me. Actually, we're not. That's like leather. Leather is what I'm thinking, not leads. Leather. Because they don't drop stuff that would drop off of them. All right. I will be back once I get the slicer done. We just took a little detour to look at that Starbunkle Mania. That is actually not mentioned also on their mod page, so it looks like this is a newer edition. Still pretty freaking awesome. I'll be back. All right, we're on to the next sequential fabricator here. And I think I could probably get away with putting this like right here. But then I wouldn't be able to output. It'd be funny. Okay, let's just put it right here for now. We'll call it, and we'll just run pipes here. This is not going to look pretty, but that's okay. These are actually basic tier thermo generators. I went ahead and didn't do the starters like I was thinking, because it wasn't going to run enough for these two. So I just decided to go ahead and just bite the bullet on that one. And it looks like I will need another laser node for this, but we'll just get the recipe set. So it is all of these items. So this 3 times. This left, this right, this here. Actually, no. It's this here, this here, this here, and then cod rolls on the bottom, isn't it? Yes. And then, of course, now we just need a laser node, which I'll probably put, like, right here. And then just connect to here, and we should be good. So let's do input, and then output on top. That sounds good to me. I know this definitely doesn't look pretty, but honestly, I'm kind of surprised with how little space we've used with this. Yeah, and especially with like this, I probably could have pushed it over one and just had a pipe feed or something into it under this hopper. That probably wouldn't have been a problem, but you know, we're okay. Not a whole lot of space wasted, and it looks like we're actually still getting. We need more salmon rolls, but we're out of rice, so that may be a problem, but that's okay. Let me go get a laser node. All right. So we are going to get the laser node put down here. Oh, I forgot one thing. Hold on. Missing one item. Counting filter. All right. Now I've got the counting filter. Let's get the laser node placed down here. So here, we're going to then make sure that we disconnect the pipe. And input, counting filter, and we're just going to do all of these items. Increase the stack, decrease by 1, and then we'll connect to this laser node right here. And that should start sending items over. And then all we're going to do now is we're going to put this here. Make sure items are being auto input, auto output. Perfect. And then that should be golden. So we just make sure everything is connected that way. Okay, just verifying. And it looks like it is struggling to pull salmon? Or is it just pulling way too much and it's like struggling to keep up? Okay, it just looked like it was taking a second. That's fine. So then everything should be making rice roll melodies, which is beautiful to see. And of course, this is a non-stackable, so let's go grab a handful of the copper upgrades from functional storage, which I have in this drawer. I think 2 should be good. I think that's 256. We'll just verify real quick before we... Nope, that is 2K. So 1 would be 256. So we'll just do 1. That'll be 256 rice roll melodies, and that is beautiful. So that is part 2 of the... How many parts of this? So we've got that one, we've got that one. So the next is roast chicken, shepherd's pie, or cooked whole crab. I think the thing is with all of these, but the... let's just bookmark this here real quick and clear. So everything else is not that complicated. We have to do a milking system. That isn't too hard. Looks like we've actually got a couple types of milk. We got a milk cup, a milk bottle, and why do we have so many milk options? What is this? We got Farmer's Delight, which that just... Okay, so nothing really saving us time there. Jar of peanut butter. Or nut butter. Okay, that's a little strange to me. And then milk bottle from Cyclic, which is a 3-to-1. Okay. I mean, theoretically, doing this wouldn't be a bad idea, because then you have a little bit left over and you're able to do more with things like that. But then if we need it for the sweet roll melody, we may as well just go full send and make a milking system. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like next episode we will do a milking system. We'll work on shepherd's pie. It looks like we need to work on cooking up some meats. So the chicken, we need to work on the mutton, and then we need to work on... I think that's it. So just those 2 require cooked meats, which are both right here, right? We've got the chicken, and we've got the mutton. So I could just set up a couple furnaces over here or wherever we want to put this. I think I'll set the next couple of items, because most of these are drawer controllers. Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit of work, as I said earlier. I think either this episode or last, we have to convert the rice from the current rice to Farmer's Delight, from thermal to farmers. That's not too complicated, and the rest of this is good, because we have bowls in the system, so we should be able to run those. Before I forget, let's just actually quickly go ahead and make a couple upgrades, or get a couple upgrades, because I'm going to go throw those into the bowls. And I think what I want to also do is I'm going to grab a handful of diamonds and just go toss these into the bowl thing, so that way we'll just have like a whole bunch being made, and that way we won't run out. So let's go... Where is the bowl one? It's right here. And that should get us cruising with bowls, because we're going to be using them for nearly everything. Okay. All right. With that, we're going to wrap this one up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.